Business doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it. It's all about mastering a few key techniques, systems, and mindset. Welcome to Well-Oiled Operations. With over 2 million downloads, it's the go-to podcast dedicated to helping you increase your profit margins while getting your time back. I'm your host, Stacy Tuschl. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and I own multiple seven-figure businesses. Whether you're a brick and mortar or an online business owner, it doesn't matter. I've got both, and I'll show you my framework to get you more customers in the door, more profit in your pocket, and more happiness in your home. It's time to get your business less reliant on you. Today's episode is all about maintaining confidence when business gets tough. It's easy to be confident when you're winning, but what about when the business is learning? What about when the business is down in revenue, or you're in a summer slump, or whatever it is, okay? So this summer is actually my 21st year in business, and things are going well now. But you're seeing me with a 21-year-old business and an almost 8-year-old business. You're also seeing me experienced, understanding that I'm aware summer is not that great for us in our studios. And you've seen me now 21 years in, knowing I need to create a strategy to hold myself over during summer. And I now have confidence because of that. So I want you to know it hasn't always been easy. In fact, the first 5 years in both of my businesses were really hard. And I found it really, I remember in the studios, year 5, I was like, oh, we did it. There was just something about it. And what's funny is in Well-Oiled, it felt exactly the same way. Now, that could be just me. I'm not saying you've got to wait 5 years to feel like you're winning, but I just remember both of the businesses hitting 5 years just felt different. Okay. The first 5 years, I will tell you, there were so many moments of wanting to quit, but I have a pretty good size ego and it's a little too big to quit and to publicly show failure. So I guess I'm a little lucky there. And what I wanted to talk about in today's episode is what you have to go through in the short term for long-term success. Times being tough is 100% inevitable in your business. And it's not just the beginning. I'm not here to say, oh, the first 5 years were horrible, but now the rest has been fine. No, there will be moments, years in, decades in, where it feels like, oh my goodness, why am I even doing this? Some days I do think, should I just sell everything? And I could retire right now. I could just sell everything and never speak to an angry customer or an employee who is demanding a raise, who's already maybe getting overpaid, right? All the things. I'm like, I could just be done. There are moments like that I still have today. There are moments where there's major turnover with the team, or it feels like all the clients are quitting, right? Maybe you get bad publicity and it feels like the world is ending. I will never forget one of my clients. I was early 20s when this happened. One of my clients wrote a letter all about me in not the greatest way. And she mailed it to all of my best, highest level clients. I want to say I was 21, 22. I was bartending because the only time I was able to work, because I was a full-time college student, I taught dance on weeknights and evenings. So the only time left for me to get a job was basically 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I bartended. And I did that for almost 5 years in the beginning. And it was not a secret for the sake of sometimes dance moms would come into the very popular bar that I was working in and they would see me. So of course it spread oh, did you know Stacy's a bartender? And I remember one morning I got a phone call from a dance mom and she said, you aren't going to believe this. Here's what I just got in my mailbox. And she wanted me to know that someone did this and what they said and that it was out there, but she wanted me to be aware she didn't believe it. But of course, you do not focus on the one person who's saying, I trust you. I know that this isn't true. You focus on the letter and what people are thinking and who does believe this, right? The letter was saying things like, Stacy comes drunk to practice, like crazy accusations. I mean, it was slander at its finest. I didn't know that's what that was back then. Like I was too young to even know like I could have done something about it. And I just remember thinking like, this is horrible. Everyone is going to leave. And I honestly don't remember if anybody did 2 decades later. Like I was thinking about that story and I was like, how many people left because of that letter? And I'm like, I really don't think anybody left. And what's crazy is the person that wrote the letter didn't leave. So like my point is there are moments where you are going to think, is this even worth it? Okay. It's going to be when you just start, and it's going to be even when you're 2 decades in, right? The question is, who do you want to be when hard times show up? How will you handle it? Okay. So you have to remember that on the other side of this incredibly hard situation, whatever you're going through, on the other side of that is the opportunity to scale the business in new ways. Every horrible thing that has happened to me, every down moment, down, like when the revenue's down, or it just feels like nobody likes you and you're getting like 1-star reviews, people saying like, if I could leave a 0, I would. We've all gotten it, right? So when you're in those moments, there is nothing to do but to keep going, right? So sometimes we have to break through those walls, right? We have to just keep moving forward to get to the other side. And it's not fun. But if you want to stay in business and thrive in business and not hold yourself back in that moment, it's just what you've got to do. And we try to skip the struggle sometimes, and we try to avoid the hard parts, okay? But here's what I know. When you delay or avoid the hard parts, you are delaying your future success when you do that. So sometimes it's just easier to not have to work through something. And I encourage you to feel all the feelings, to be afraid, to be nervous, to be scared, angry, anxious, a gazillion other emotions, right? To feel it and to keep going anyway. If you avoid those feelings, it'll be pleasant. You will get to stay comfortable, right? But it will only result in short-term gain. You get to, in the short term, feel comfortable, but in the long term, you miss out on what was on the other side of that breakthrough. When you understand this hard part is going to take the most commitment, and if you can stay committed now through that moment and break through, you will experience long-term gain. Your business will drastically change, okay? So here are a few ways that business owners do this. And it may feel like you're taking an easier route, but that easier route is going to cost you so much more in the long term. So I thought of ways that I have done this in the last 21 years. And I thought of things I noticed my clients doing to really give you 5 big ones that I want you to keep in the back of your head and catch yourself. The next time you decide, I think I'm going to do one of these strategies, I want you to ask, am I doing this to avoid the uncomfortableness of getting through this part? Okay. So number 1, when you find yourself giving up on something. Okay. So we had this incredible client, Paula, and she just publicly shared that she has been trying to crack Facebook ads for a while, 8 months to be exact. Month 1 through 7, she lost money every single month. And on month 8, she said, I have so many leads, we can't keep up. Our team is booked. So of course, like we're here to teach her how to hire more people so that she can keep the leads coming, right? Now, here's what is crazy. People in the chat, when she was talking, were like, wait a minute, are you saying you lost money month 1 through month 7? And she's like, correct. Okay. What's crazy is the norm is people try something like that, try Facebook ads, try whatever, right? And it's not working. And they tell you 2 days later, it's not working, or 2 months later, or they quit on month 3, month 4. Not many of them are giving it their all on month 8. Okay. When you want to quit something, ask yourself, why? And what would be the result if you just kept trying. Okay. The second person, or the second way that I see people doing this, and I definitely did this in the beginning of Well Oiled. Oh my goodness. Constantly making changes. If you're always picking a new niche, creating new products, changing price points, changing the timeframes of your services, right? And so on. What I see is they make changes, or I made changes because I had this belief it would be easier to do it this way. Oh, maybe I picked the wrong price point. Maybe I picked the wrong product. Maybe I picked the wrong market. I bet it would be easier to sell to X, right? I bet it would be easier if I changed the price from 98 to 47. Okay. I see this with people changing business models. And I will tell you, like, I don't want to be negative, but here's my perception. Everything good is hard in the beginning. Everything amazing is going to take a little bit of time, and you have to keep working it until it works. Most people don't work it long enough. Now, number 3 is making changes and going back. Like, you make the change to 98, but then you second guess yourself, and then you go back to 47 or whatever it was, right? And going back too quickly. So I see people announcing changes, right? And before there is even a proper test, like they're talking to me 2 to 3 weeks later, they're back to the old thing. And I'm like, wait, I thought you switched it to this. Like, oh, I did that. And yeah, it didn't really work as well as I was thinking. And I'm like, well, give me details. Like, how many people saw it? How long did you promote? How many emails did you send? And it was like, oh, so you sent one email one time and then decided it wasn't working, right? So they go back. I really want you to know that when you make changes, you're most likely doing it because you think this is a better option. I bet it's easier. This is the grass is greener mentality. I think the grass can be greener wherever you water it, right? The grass can be greener with whatever offer you decide. This is the offer. This is the time frame. This is the price point. And you keep working it until it works. Okay. I had a friend who is learning from somebody, paying lots of money to learn from a mentor. And she'll message me and she'll say, oh my goodness, I see you doing this. And then she'll ask me all these questions like she wants to model it, which I have no problem with her modeling it. The problem that I see for her is that she can very quickly think, oh, wait, what I'm doing is not the right way. I want to do what Stacy's doing because that looks easy. But I don't show all of the blood, sweat, and tears of what it takes to get something going. So yes, it looks really easy when things are going well. And I'm telling you, we're having record months. But I never said like 10 months earlier, things are not going well. I can't figure this out. I'm trying everything and it's not working. You aren't hearing me publicly say that, right? So the grass isn't greener with my model compared to your model, compared to whoever else's model, right? The grass is greener where you water it. Some of you aren't watering. You're jumping ship so often and you're not getting the results because you aren't putting in the work to get the results. Okay. This kind of goes along with number 4, which is changing your goals. So this is one of the most common I see. Everybody is setting big, lofty, like crazy big goals in December and January. And now it's that time of year, June, July, right? Their goals have changed. Many will lower their goals. They are convinced they are not on track and there's no way they're going to hit it. Here's the thing. Summer, a lot of times there is a summer slump for certain businesses. Some people's business blows up in summer. I've got to find one of those to like offset my businesses. Okay. And which is just kidding. That's a shiny object syndrome, which also is like thinking, oh, if I only had a business that didn't have a downtime in summer. Okay. Well, they probably have a downtime in winter, vice versa, right? Grass isn't greener. I prove my point with just like the way our brains think. So anyway, changing goals. A lot of times right now, some of you are listening to this in real time and you are experiencing a summer slump and you're thinking, I'm not going to hit my goals. So you start lowering your goals. Okay. Even if you have a business with a summer slump, I always think summer is the time I prepare for the most insane Q4. And for me, in both my businesses, it's not just Q4, it's September, October, November, December. So I actually get 4 months to come back, right? And I always think I can have such a massive comeback September through December in both businesses that it doesn't even matter what happens in summer. But here is the thing. Q4 is built in summer. When you're thinking summer's not great, oh my goodness, I'm going to just have to slow down. There's not a lot going on. If you saw what I was planning right now for September, for October, right? The work is being done now. I don't have to change my goals when summer revenue drops because I know my thought is, oh, I make up for it and then some in Q4. So I do not change my goals every summer. To me, it's just like, I expect it. I have massive cash reserves leading into summer. I have certain things I do for summer because I know what's expected. Now, here's the deal. I do not keep the thought, well, summer sucks, so let's not even try to do anything in summer. I still play full out in summer, and that also helps me reap the rewards. Okay. So I always tell people, don't change your goals, change your actions. Some of you have given up in summer. I am in coaching programs. I also have my own coaching programs. Historically, summer engagement massively drops. I know if I want to get like advice from my coach, if I just jump on a summer call, there's like very few people on and I'm going to get a ton of coaching. Okay. So if you are one of those people that are checking out for summer, this is where you have to understand you're doing this to yourself, right? There are so many ways to still pour into summer and enjoy it. The last piece, number 5, is avoiding hard conversations and setting boundaries with team members or clients. You may know that you need to fire somebody, but you feel bad. So you don't talk to them about it and they stay. And then they're just not the person that's going to help you scale to the next number, right? And it's hurting your business sometimes more than it's helping. Maybe you have a client that is so draining. The best week of your life is when she goes on vacation and checks out. And you didn't have to speak to her for a week, right? We've all had somebody like that. We're like, yes, they're out of town. Or when they quit and you're like, yes, you can fire clients, right? You can have hard conversations and set boundaries. Some of you are just tolerating these people in your life, right? Now, hard conversations are not fun. I do not look forward to them, but they always help us move forward. What conversation have you been avoiding? I think it's easy to be confident when things are good. It's how you show up in the moments that aren't. It's how you show up when you have your worst week of sales in months or your worst month of the year. It's how you show up, right? It's the thoughts you're thinking that's going to cause the way you're feeling and produce the actions. If you're thinking, why is this so hard? You'll feel defeated. You won't move forward with the new price tag, or you'll end up going back, right? You'll be like that wishy-washy person we're talking about, and you're not going to get the results you're looking for. But if you think a thought like, I just need to figure out how to sell it at this price tag. I know there are buyers out there. I know I can do this, right? You will feel more confident. You will feel more open-minded to testing things. And your actions will be that you're trying and you're testing and maybe you're failing, but you keep going. And the difference between those results in those two models is one person makes it work and the other doesn't. And the question becomes, who do you want to be? And I really want you thinking about that. How it's hard. It's not easy. It is not easy to exude confidence when the numbers are showing something else, or when your feedback from clients is not great, or when you have a team member that says something about you or blasts you to whoever, right? How can you keep and maintain and even build confidence when times aren't going well? This is probably an episode you may want to re-listen to and ask yourself, who have I been? How do I avoid these difficult times? What is my natural tendency? And when you discover what you've been doing, I want you to ask yourself, how do you want to change it next time? So when it happens, you can go, oh, wait a minute. This is one of those moments when I lose confidence. And then I know I start thinking these thoughts. And then I know like, this is what my results look like, right? But who do I want to be? Okay, I want to be somebody who thinks this, somebody who continues to show up day in and day out. Those results will change. Again, your September, your Q4 is built now. Okay. And if you're listening to this 6 months from now, whatever you do now, you will see the results 90 days from now, 4 months from now. Stop expecting the immediate results and keep going. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I do think this is one of those things a lot of people don't talk about. They talk about how easy it is and business is amazing and everybody should do it. But I really want to share like the truth, the behind the scenes. I think business is amazing, but I think there's a lot of parts of it that suck that we have to go through anyway to experience the amazing part. So if you have maybe a friend, a business owner, somebody that needs to hear this, somebody that maybe is in business that has not been introduced yet to this podcast, I would be so grateful if you would tag a friend, share this, tag me on social media, shout out the podcast, and let's get this message out to more small business owners. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.